Hi, this is Linda, and I'm here to tell you a little bit about the palm reading. You know, the right side of your body is male, and the left side of your body is female. And what I do is I read the energy in the hands. And when we look at your right hand, say, first of all, the thumbs are will and the thumbs are money. And so if this is thick right here, that person is dumb stubborn. That means they'll cut off their nose to spite their face. If there's a little waist on there, what that means is that that person knows how to speak nicely and get whatever they want by speaking nicely. It means they know how to bend, too. They're not dumb stubborn. So the thumbs are will and the thumbs are money. You know, so if the finger bends back, it's like this. It's a money thumb. It's a mental ability to make money, be in business for themselves, be successful with their work. If it goes more straight, doctors, nurses, hairdressers, the thumb goes more straight, then they provide a service for people. So the thumbs will tell you if they're stubborn, if they're not stubborn, if they have money thumbs, if they have a providing a service hand. This is their mouth. So if this is really long, they tell a lot of people what to do. You know, like I had a woman, a doctor who was teaching medicine in a college, and she had this real long finger telling everybody what to do. I teach one-on-one, so mine is shorter, you know. If this finger is crooked, they're being critical or judgmental. And I see a lot of psychiatrists and psychologists that have totally crooked fingers, or people that are just that way, just critical. And if it's on the left hand, then they're being critical of women. If it's on the right hand, they're being critical of men. Like so some people have a totally straight finger on one side and totally crooked on the other. It's really funny to watch, you know. If it's knotted up, they're being rigid in their thinking. You know, so think of these as little branches that's going to tell you what's going on inside that head, because they really are. So this is will and money. This is your mouth. It's how people are talking. If it's bent, that means that person's critical or judgmental. If it's long, they tell a lot of people what to do, or more one-on-one if it's short. If it's chubby down here, they're the boss in the home, or they're the boss telling people what to do. If it's skinny there, they're not worried about being the boss. All right? And if it's with women, they'll be more submissive to a man if this is skinny down here. You know, that's another story. But anyway, and this finger here, if it's bent, I see this being bent, and I mean it's like a tree bending. This finger, if it's bent, that person, it's usually women have that. Very few men have it. They'll stay in a place for financial reason other than desire to be there. And see, they're not saying how they feel. So their fingers will say how they feel. The hands are going to express what the mouth doesn't. And so the shape of the fingers will tell you a heck of a lot, you know. And if they need more sex, that finger will go up like this. And of course it's like this, so it's going up like this. And they'll say, how did you know I need more sex? Well, I can push it down, it'll pop right back up, you know. So if they need more sex, that will show up there. This is their eye, what they're looking at, all right? And if it's pulling back, they don't see themselves getting married, or they don't like what they see. If it's on the right side, it's male. If it's on the left side, it's female. If this little finger is kinking up, it's like a puppy dog's tail. It says, I've been hurt, you know, so it's like a tail between its legs. It's not trusting a male. If it's a man, he doesn't trust himself, if it's on the male side. If it's on the female side, he doesn't trust women. And so each hand can read totally differently. If they know more than they say, they hold their hands like this. Okay? If they're not open to change, a lot of times they'll hold their hand like this. If they're not saying how they feel, they'll hold their hands like this. So the way they hold their hands and the shape of the fingers And the way they put them out to you is going to tell you so much more than you can just look at their hands and they're going to talk to you. And what you're really seeing is incongruencies. If there's nothing wrong, their hands won't show an incongruency. But if there's something wrong, they're not saying how they feel. You open up their mouth, they can start crying. If they're not trusting, if they're not open to change, I can pry their mouth open or pry their psychic door open because they're saying, I'm not open to change. I'm holding it all together. I'm not open to change. So I'll open this up and I'll open a portion of their mind. Or if they're not saying how they feel, I'll open it up and they'll start talking and tell me everything, So, right here, this is family, all right? And so if they've got a big mound there, that person can be a little impatient. That's like, I want it done yesterday. Nobody's moving, thinking fast enough for me. And that impatience makes them do more than their share. And when somebody else hasn't done their part, there'll be a line like that. That means I did more than my share, somebody else didn't do their part. And it made a big dent in there. And so you can see you're reading their energy. And a lot of times people don't realize it, like they'll be extending with their work, but they'll be pulling back in their personal life. So their hands will literally hold differently. So they know more than they say. That's their mouth is open, but they're not open to change. That's they're holding it all together. A lot of times people get sick when I can't even keep my fingers like that because that psychic door is always open, but I can try to close it. But anyway, so the shape of the hands, so right away you've learned something. You learned if somebody's stubborn or they're charming. You've learned if they're the boss and how many people they're talking to, if they need more sex, if they don't trust, if they're in when I used to work with men's sexuality, if they wanted to have a wife at home and screw around on the side, they'd hold their hands like this. One was closed and one was open. So the hands will tell you if there's a problem. So you can talk about this to somebody, and they'll go, "Oh, I didn't know my finger did that," And I'll try to put it down, and they'll bring it right back, and they go, "I didn't know it did that," or "I didn't know that," or a lot of times they'll look down at their hands and they'll go, "Well, my hands aren't doing that," if I'm explaining it, which I don't usually explain it like this, but, they'll look to see if their hands have a problem. Well, I see incongruencies, all right? So it's just like when you're reading a person, you read their eyes, you see the incongruencies. The hands will tell you a whole lot that their eyes and their mouth won't. So anyway, that's just a tiny bit about the hands. I hope you enjoyed that. And I will tell you more about that later. Okay? Have a good day. Bye-bye.